Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alternate Point of View. My name is Tracy Lee, and boy, do we have a very shocking trial that is happening right now. Oh my gosh. So, Jordan and Ashley Henning were both in the military and they were stationed at Fort Knox in Kentucky. And they had 3 children, and they were having a birthday party of all things for Ashley Henning. And I mean, this went from 0 to 1 million in a matter of minutes. And I am going to play you the opening statement so you can just hear the shocking, and I mean shocking and horrific things that happened to Ashley Henning at the hands of her husband, Jordan Henning, while the children were in the home. This is probably one of the most horrible crimes. And I don't even know. I say this like almost every time I hear of something because it's almost as if I can't hear anything more horrific than the other. But this is absolutely horrific. And it just seems like it came out of nowhere. I mean, uh, listening to some of the witnesses following, it just seems as if this did come out of nowhere. So I want you to hear the opening statements from the prosecution. It's a very short opening statement, and it appears that Jordan Henning did the most god awful things uh, in a matter of moments to his wife that he had been with for several years. So, as I'm pulling this up, my apologies for that. As I'm pulling this up, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to this channel, as it really helps the algorithm. And I really appreciate you guys so much for that. So let's listen to this opening statement.
Where we left off with the state's opening statement.
Storm clouds gathered over the Henning household, and another storm tore through that house that took her life. As soon as her friends were gone, Jordan Henning came in, and you'll see and hear, because this storm too was caught on camera. Surveillance cameras around the house will show you how Jordan Henning raged into the kitchen and begins yelling.
Some of this is silent.
He screams at her, he yells at her, "You never listen to me, you don't love me." He's berating their son. It gets to the point, you'll see, she yells for the kids to go to their rooms and close their doors. You'll see and hear how one of the children ran next door to the neighbors, and you'll see how the neighbors came to try and intervene and calm him down. And he threatens them. And unfortunately, you're going to see, after all of the turmoil, all of the threats, you're going to see Ashley Henning sitting in a chair, and Jordan Henning shooting her as she sits there pleading with him to put the gun down. You'll see how she tries to get up and run. He follows, stands over her and shoots her, gets another magazine and comes back and stands over her and executes her. And you'll see how he spits on her body as he walks away. And you'll hear how he does a countdown and tells her, "This is going to end in death tonight." And you're going to hear him tell her it's all her fault. Now, I don't know what kind of explanation or excuse one can come up for that. But when you've heard all of the evidence and you've seen and heard the video, I'm going to ask you to find Jordan Henning guilty of murder.
So, as I stated, that is absolutely disgusting. I mean, I don't know what kind of pew pew he used, but to get another magazine is I mean, I don't know how many rounds were in the initial one, but to get another one is pretty disgusting. And then my worst thing, I mean, the worst thing is that he took her life, okay? And the children were in the house. The just I don't even know, but the most disrespectful at the end was to spit on her and then to blame her and to do the things that he did. I just don't I just can't fathom how it went the way it did. I don't understand. I just don't, there's no rhyme or reason to this entire situation. So I just don't get it. So I am going to also show you. So I just want to say, you know, there is video of the incident prior to, obviously, what occurred. There isn't, obviously they're not showing the video of what happened. They do discuss and his defense, just so you know, is very lackadaisy. They're trying to blame her, of course. His defense attorney is awful. His defense attorney is claiming that this is her fault, that he has lived through years of abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, and that he just snapped. So I do want to show you a little bit of the video that they did have in their home. They had cameras in their home, Nest cameras, and it did capture some of the footage of the prior to. I can't really understand what they're saying. So I am going to show you a little bit of the prior, what happened and led up to this, which still, again, I can't understand what led up to this. But it turns out she was asking him a question. They're cleaning up after the party, her birthday party. And I don't know what they're hollering at each other about, but clearly they're in different rooms of the house. So of course she's hollering at him, asking him something. He's hollering at her. So I don't understand what they're hollering about, but you do eventually hear him saying to her, "You never listen, you don't listen." So this does get escalated. So it gets quite crazy, but not to the point of you would think that it would go go there. So
I'm not gonna do that. Kill me. Absolutely.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Julie Grant. It was a dramatic scene when Jordan Henning shot and killed his wife, Ashley, begged police to then kill him. And there's home surveillance video of the shooting. And the jury's about to watch.
So I just want to let you know there's a lot of language in here that really YouTube does not like to be said. There's also going to be a lot of blank portions of this video because there's a lot of language that can't be said on television and can't be said on YouTube. So just so you understand that.
Watch it now. Let's go in together live.
Also, this is from Court TV, so I'm probably going to get canceled.
Even the host on the living body. Even the host on the living body. I take it off. It's off. What? Okay, take it off.
Okay, so it sounds like she's asking about something on a light. She can't get it off.
Is it or is it not? Okay, and y'all consider that.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it for a minute. So she's asking about something that she can't get off of a light. He's frustrated about that question. He says, why can't you get it off? She's saying, I can't. He's saying, obviously, he's frustrated about that. He says, it's that simple. It's that simple. So she kind of deflects that situation. She says, oh my God, whatever, something to that effect. And he's still badgering that situation. And now it goes silent because there's some language being said that they can't share. Still, language. There's a lot of language. I'm really surprised they're showing the kids because they're minors. He's really yelling at this kid. A lot, it appears. I don't know if he's yelling at Carter or Ashley. Maybe both. I think she's saying all the time. He said, get your clothes.
This is the buildup. This is where all the tension.
Okay, so that is, I don't know what led up to that. It still doesn't make any sense. It's still not, the math ain't mathin'. I just don't understand how it went from her telling him she couldn't get something off of a light to this. And Carter seems to be a point of contention for him. That child, I don't know what it is, but he brings Carter down, and it sounded like he said, drop and give me 60 or something. It sounded like that. I'm not positive. I can't understand really what all he's saying other than you never listen to me. You don't listen. I'm hearing a lot of that. You can tell there's a lot of banging going on in that room. Obviously, she started out with her hair up and now it's down. You can hear that when she finally does get out of that room, she runs upstairs. She's telling the kids, get your clothes, we're leaving. And he's telling her to stop, you're not. The kids are running around. It's crazy. I'm shocked at Kentucky that they show the children. They don't blur them out. They're even yet allowing to use their names. So it's weird that this is happening. It's also strange. So I don't believe this trial is live. Court TV is watching it first, and then they're showing us the snippets from the trial afterward. So I believe it is because there is so much language that they have to be able to cut it out first. The other wild and crazy thing that happened in this trial is that the defense attorney asked for a mistrial because there was a comment on the internet, social media, that said they called the defense attorney a racist. And so the defense attorney said he wanted a mistrial because he didn't know if that was a juror that called it a mistrial or a racist, or if the jurors saw that post on social media. And he just kept on and on and on and on about that. And the judge finally told him to have a seat. So obviously the judge did not call it a mistrial, but what I do believe could be called making this trial be a mistrial, quite possibly, is Ashley Henning's friend, who is obviously very passionate and very upset about what happened, as she should be, as her family is, as everyone is, who has lost her in this absolutely horrendous way. But what seems to be a testimony that could be, useful is actually not. So I want to play her friend Jamie Savat's testimony, but this is not good for a conviction that can stand, that won't be brought back and couldn't be taken down by the defense. So when you hear this, it at first seems like she's helping her friend. It at first seems like, wow, she's really, because at first I was watching it and I was like, man, she's really mopping the floor with this defense attorney, and he is just does not have his footing. And this, one of two things could happen in Jordan's favor. One, Jordan can appeal his conviction by saying he didn't have adequate counsel. And that can be a definite cause for appeal because, oh my gosh, this defense attorney is terrible. Secondly, this whole thing could just be called as a mistrial based on this one person's testimony because it was bad. Not only that, the judge himself is not doing anything to stop this testimony. So this could all just backfire in everyone's face, especially the prosecution, because the prosecution, wow, this is a bad witness for everyone. And what's even worse is she has experience. She is a guardian ad litem, which is a an attorney for or a go-between for children in court. So she has experience in the courthouse. So this is not good behavior for someone in a courthouse. So I want to show you her testimony because this is actually really bad for her, for Ashley, for everyone involved in this entire situation, because she is just not doing a good job. On all of my, obviously my TV, my information is coming from Court TV because that's the only place that is actually covering this. So everything is going to have Court TV logo, all of that stuff on it. So Court TV, thank you. and we're going to watch this, and you're going to be entertained at the very least. But
back to Kentucky now. The military wife murder trial. Jordan Henning. He is accused of murdering his military wife. And story.
And this jury's already heard.
Direct examination. Sidebar is broken.
That's why I stopped. There's objection. I got to move.
Marital problem.
Ashley's take was her and Jordan had, they obviously were going through bumps. Because we even joked about they just had their 7-year anniversary. And I gave them a gift bag full of like Vagisil, Gold Bond, because the 7-year itch, right? So I told, she said, it's marriage problems, it's the normal stuff. She goes, because I brought up to her the fact that, the intimacy with Jordan, the sex with Jordan, she said, the thing is, Jamie, she goes, honestly, she goes, I don't be with him because everything he does is for sex. She goes, the niceness and the things he does, I don't know if he's doing it because he's being genuine or if he's doing it to get sex. And she goes, and every time we have sex, she goes, everything changes. He goes back to, like, I took it as he would be nice and he would do things for her. But as soon as she gave in and had sex with him or she'd have sex with him.
Judge, I make the same objection.
That then he would go back not being nice to her. That the only time he was nice to her is when he wanted to have sex with her. So she did not feel that Jordan's actions of niceness was genuine.
Did you ever see or know of any previous acts of violence between them?
That evening, as we were in the outside before we left, and this is pretty much what shut it down to where we were like, okay, we're done, we're going home. As I said, Jordan was over there. He was like in everybody's face talking about this. He took a step beside Ashley, and he took his hand was like this, and he grabbed her behind the back of her neck like this. And she did like this, like she kind of like brushed him off like that. And she said, okay, guys, I'm going to bed. But that's how Ashley was. Anytime Jordan would even say anything that was aggressive or mean, she'd be like, she'd walk away. She never engaged. And we were at a Lou City game. As I mentioned, we did life together. We were at a Lou City game. Jordan had drunk a good bit at the game. And as we were leaving the game, he wanted the keys to drive. Well, they had Carter and all of them, the kid. And she's like, no, you're not driving home, Jordan. And he was mad that she was not giving him the keys to drive back from Louisville. And so as Ashley got in the driver's side, Jordan's standing there still wanting the keys. And she's like, I'm not giving you the keys. And her foot was like out the door still. And as it was by mere luck that she lifted her foot because Jordan took the door and he just slammed it so hard on her. And I looked at my husband, like he didn't hit her. He did not hit her.
So he didn't hit her?
No, it did not hit her leg, but if she wouldn't have moved her leg the very second she did, he would have closed the door. But the anger behind him slamming the door on her because she would not give him the keys to drive when he was drunk, to drive their family home.
Otherwise, no other signs of physical violence?
No.
Have just a second.
So that's the prosecution asking her questions first.
It's all questions back.
Cross the 10 minutes.
she's about to destroy this guy, but she's also going to destroy this entire thing. And I feel very sorry for Ashley's family.
Ma'am, obviously, you considered yourself a great friend of Ashley's, correct?
Yes,
And as a matter of fact, when you were interviewed by police, you told them in the first interview that you said you wanted to be there for trial. Do you recall stating that?
yes,
And that you wanted to give an impact statement? Do you recall stating that?
I absolutely did.
All right. So in fact, you were upset police hadn't talked to you, reached out to you immediately. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, because I was there, so why wouldn't they have?
Right. So they didn't reach out to you immediately. You wanted them to talk to you immediately. You already were talking about victim impact statements. You wanted to be, in fact, you said you weren't going to move until there was trial. You planned to move. You're going to stay here until there was trial, correct?
I said that could possibly be the case. I didn't know, because if my husband got a job, I'd have had to move. I didn't get to dictate that.
Right, but I understand. But you said they planned to move to Virginia, but we're going to be here. Make sure you're here for the trial, correct?
I don't have to live here to be here for the trial. There's plenty of people here today that's here not because they live here.
Right, I understand that. But the way you put it is, and we have a transcript here,
Okay.
that you are going to move to Virginia, but you're going to stay here until the trial.
So am I moving or am I staying?
Pardon me?
You're saying both. Which am I doing? Am I moving or staying? Because you're kind of saying I'm doing both. So
No, I'm not. I'm asking you. You said you're planning to move to Virginia, and but I want to be here for any trial. And if we get that far in the trial, I guess I'll give the statements like the victim impact statements. Correct? Is that what you said? You're already talking about victim impact.
yes, because
Right.
there's a victim in this.
Right.
Her children are victims in this.
I understand.
And I've seen what those children went through, unlike you, unlike Jordan, unlike a lot of people in here.
Ma'am?
So yes, there was victims. I was victim in this too, because I had to deal with the repercussions, unlike you that's reading off a sheet of paper.
Well, ma'am, let me ask you this, okay? I'd be happy to ask you this. You have been to court before, correct, in connection with other things? You're a guardian ad litem.
I was a guardian ad litem.
Yeah. So you've been to court,
Yes,
correct?
yes, I have.
You're familiar with court.
I sure am.
You're familiar with testifying,
I
correct?
sure am.
You've testified before, correct?
Yes, I have.
Okay, you're not someone who's going to be afraid or overcome or awed by the court system because,
Absolutely not.
right, because you're part of it and you've testified in, regarding families and children and so forth,
I
correct?
was an advocate for children, just like I'm an advocate here today to tell my side of what happened and to tell the repercussions of what happened afterwards of Ashley's children and who Ashley was as a person.
Right, but you have to answer questions because you're a witness, okay? So
Exactly.
I'll ask you questions and if you could please answer.
I'm doing
Now,
that.
you've talked about how you familiar with the court system, not awed by the court system, and that's clearly the case, and you'll come in and basically feel comfortable in court, correct?
Correct.
All right. Now, police interviewed you. You have testified something that would really be very important to upset anybody, that Jordan had talked about saying, oh, if he killed somebody, he could claim EED and so forth and get away with it. Isn't that what you said essentially?
No, I don't know what EED is. I said said he could claim PTSD and say he had a rage moment. So I don't know what you're talking about with EED. So no, you're incorrect.
Okay, so she is very fiery, and she is having a very wild exchange with this defense attorney, and the judge is doing absolutely nothing to stop it. So I'm finding that to be, I've never seen a courtroom handled this way. I've seen courtrooms handled in different ways, but the fact that the judge is not doing anything to stop this is shocking. So I don't know how this is going to look for an appeal, but I imagine this could be in Jordan's favor. And we'll continue.
This. He could claim PTSD.
Yes.
And because of that, he could claim uncontrollable rage and insanity. That's what he told you.
No, he did not go into detail. He said, I can claim PTSD, and I can also say I went into a rage because I take testosterone injections.
Well,
and people with testosterone have a tendency to sometimes rage, he said. That was his words. He didn't go into the scientific things of what PTSD was or anything of that nature. So no,
well, I got that, but I'm going to read from the Commonwealth's notice. He indicated he could get away with it by claiming he has PST and is prescribed testosterone, and because of that, he could claim uncontrollable rage and insanity. That's the...
Yes.
All right. Now, that obviously would be highly relevant to any prosecution of Jordan Henning, correct?
I think it'd be important to anybody in the case.
Sure, it'd be crucial information to have that the defendant said before the homicide. Hey, not that he was talking about the homicide, but boy, if I killed anybody, I could claim PTSD and uncontrollable rage, right?
Yeah.
All right. And I got to ask you, man, you were interviewed by the Commonwealth back in July of 23, correct?
Yes.
After the homicide, correct? After the incident.
Well, it was a few weeks after.
Right. And it's a very long interview, I think 30 transcribed pages, correct?
Well, I don't know what you determine as long. I mean, because it was maybe...
Well, it wasn't 1 or 2 pages. It wasn't a quick 1 or 2 words, correct?
Well, I don't know how many pages it was because I wasn't typing it out. I mean, I sat there and gave my statement, and it was probably a 45-minute incident. So however long it took.
45 minutes with the police telling them what you knew about the case, correct?
Yes.
All right. And the police, of course, wanted to know, correct, what you knew about the case, correct?
Well, they asked me about that day. They didn't ask me about the case. They didn't ask me about, it was about that day.
Oh, you talked about a lot of things, seeing him before, the friendship, how much you had to drink, how you bonded over soccer. You talked about the whole thing, correct?
Because like today, they asked, how did I know Ashley? Well, they led up with what happened that day. Was I there? Tell me what I knew. And then at the end of them actually asking me about that day, I mean, we got the transcripts. They said, is there anything else you'd like to tell us that would be pertinent information or that you think would be beneficial to us understanding Ashley and Jordan and what happened or might have led up to that day?
All right. What did you say?
Verbatim, word for word? I don't know. I said a lot. I mean, you said it was, what, 30-something pages?
Right.
So can you tell me what I said? And I'll tell you if I did say it or not.
Well, I'll just ask you what you didn't say.
Okay.
You never mentioned that he said before that he could kill somebody and get away with it. In the entire conversation, you're one of her best friends. You're talking to police. It's soon after the homicide. You never mentioned it.
Never mentioned.
You never mentioned the statement that he could get away with a homicide by claiming PTSD and testosterone and uncontrollable rage. You never mentioned it to police.
Because let's be real. Who thinks that someone's going to kill someone was it premeditation at that point? I don't know. I didn't even think about it at that point in time, honestly, because you know what I was doing? I was trying to tell what happened that day, my relationship with Ashley, and I didn't think you were going to sit there and try to get him off on an insanity plea either, which when I found.
Does the man deserve to be defended Or should we just roll up?
Why don't we look at the video and you tell me? I mean, but apparently you'll take anything and defend anybody for some amount of money.
Hold on a second. Mr. Henning.
I'm not wanting too much to,
Well,
as we're moving around the courtroom.
Judge, can I approach the benches?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Remain around. One thing is you got to pick up everything that you're asking on that little red microphone.
I got you. I was asking you to approach the benches. Thanks.
Okay, so here's the thing. This lawyer is getting way off track. He should be asking yes or no questions, but she's not going to let him get away with yes or no questions. Not only that, but the judge should strike a lot of her testimony. He's not like she is cussing this lawyer out. The judge should strike that. And he should ask her to have some sort of decorum in his courtroom, but he's not. He is allowing her to basically have a free-for-all. And at first it seems that she is just wiping the floor with this attorney, but she is not. She is actually hurting this case more by acting the way she's
impeachment and did not keep his questions short.
This is exactly what this attorney's saying, what I'm saying right here. He should be asking yes or no's. Also, if he's going to ask her anything about what she said in any interviews to police, he should be offering up her transcripts to her and say, Judge, can I approach so that he can refresh her memory with these transcripts? He shouldn't be asking her what she said without offering to refresh her memory, because now he's asking her to explain something that she does not recall. And now she's going to offer up any old answer out of the clear blue sky. And then she's able to give whatever she wants, and she's able to say whatever she wants. So you cannot do that. You can't allow a witness to go off the rails. And that's exactly what she's doing. So you can't allow that. And actually he can say, Judge, strike that. And he could also say, Judge, I would like to treat her as a hostile witness because she is being hostile and he's losing this battle. But the way that she could not be hurting this case and maybe not have it called a mistrial is because he did not ask to treat her as a hostile witness. But this could be looked at as one of two ways by the jury. This could be helpful to the jury convicting him and not taking this as a insanity, I just snapped kind of plea, because that is what the defense is saying, is that he snapped. Because the defense attorney is not using this whole snapped situation the best way he can, because now he's trying to say that, don't you think this man deserves a fair trial? Don't you think you could have offered this information up? First of all, why would she offer this up? And he's not asking it in the right way. He's not asking this he's not asking like, why didn't you tell the police that? Instead, he should have asked her that on the stand, in a different way and made it sound different. Not this way. He should have made it seem more like, has Jordan ever mentioned to you that he's had PTSD? Has he ever mentioned to you that he has any type of rage from taking testosterone? He should have offered it in a way that came across, has he ever mentioned to you that, if he ever killed anyone, that it could be because of PTSD? He didn't have to word it that way, because that is not sympathetic to the jury. He shouldn't have not said he could get away with murder and claim PTSD. That's not going to come across sympathetic to the jury. So there are ways that you can, and lawyers do this all the time. It is all about how you say it. It's not about what you say. It's about how you say it. I say that all the time because that's what my mama always told me. It's not about what you say. It's about how you say it. And this defense attorney did not utilize these words in the right way. So her to offer up that statement to police, she's not going to offer that up, and she has no reason to offer that up. I mean, because number one, her friend was taken out in a very brutal way, but her behavior on the stand is uncalled for. I understand that she is very, very upset about her friend, but she needs to act in an appropriate manner in order to get this resolved in the right way and to get justice for her friend. The video speaks for itself. She doesn't need to act like this. So I think the jury is going to come out with the right verdict without her acting like this. She could save this for the victim impact statements and also with decorum. So she can give her testimony, and as I'm stating, with the right behavior. So again, the defense attorney is awful. So he's shooting himself in the foot without having to have her act this way. So I think in Ashley's memory, she should be a little just polished. So I don't think we need to hear any more of her behavior, just because we can see that she's not doing a very good job of being a witness for her friend. So that is what's happening so far in this trial. It is a train wreck. And I think that honestly, the prosecution can just play the video. There is no, they don't have to prove anything. They can just play that video. And that's what the defense attorney did when he did his opening statement. I mean, oh my gosh, he played the video. I'm pretty sure that the jury probably made up their mind when they saw the video. The defense attorney did this long opening statement trying to talk about what a great soldier Jordan was. All of these things. No one cares what a great soldier he was. No one cares that he'd been to X amount of training sessions for the military. He's never been in combat. He's trying to say that the training missions he'd been on were just like combat. So that's where he gets PTSD. Dude, are you serious right now? You're trying to compare his training missions to combat? No, this guy has a hidden demon inside. And when he gets drunk, apparently it comes out. And I don't know how much violence was in that relationship, but clearly you could hear what was going on. And I don't know what happened, but that led him up to what he did to her. But there was something, and he's not getting off on this. But what can mess it up is that behavior from her friend, and also the fact that his attorney just stinks. So that is what's happening in this most horrific thing. I really hope Ashley gets justice. I hope her family gets justice, the right justice, and I hope her children. I cannot imagine what these poor children have been through. I don't know what it was like before this, and I can't imagine these poor children could see the concern and the fear of them running up and down the stairs, trying to understand what is going on, the confusion, these kids. I just feel terrible. So this is a very just awful case, terrible situation. So let me know in the comments, you guys, what you think. Let me know what you think about this friend's testimony. It's tough, man. It's hard when you love someone and you want them to get justice, but you can't do that. You cannot do that. You have to have some respect for the courtroom, some respect for your friend. I know she's passionate, and I know she cares, but at the end of the day, if you want justice, you have to act appropriately. So I pray that this does not turn into a mistrial. And I also pray this does not help with him getting an appeal in a lower sentence, because he's going to prison, but he may get a lower sentence or a lesser charge. So let me know what you guys think about this. I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And there are memberships available, so join the alternate point of view. I'll see you in the next video.